Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to tell you a snake story. I think some of you must have watched my previous video, the last video that I posted. I was talking about snakes and a lot of snake stories and stuff. But anyway, I was talking it in Malayalam. But some of my subscribers, they are not Malayalis, so they asked me what I was talking about. So if I can translate to English, that would be nice, they said. So I thought, okay, let me just translate to English. I know snake stories are not that very interesting stories, but it is quite interesting for me, even though I'm really scared about snakes. So the story I'm going to tell you is really happened with my dad, and my dad told me just a few days ago this story. And before I start the story, I would like to say a few things about my dad. My dad used to be an athlete, and he used to be a football player, and he used to be a very active person until he got retired. So when he got retired, he was very bored of staying at home doing nothing. So for that reason, he has to go out every single day, either with his friends or just by himself. And every time I call home, my mom has to complain to me about my dad. If I ask her, where's dad gone? Then she will say, oh, I don't know where your dad is gone. He's gone out as usual, and I don't know where he's gone. I don't know what time he's going to come back. You know, she complains, just as any other Indian woman or Indian mothers or Indian housewife, because it's the man who enjoys the most. They go out with friends, but the women most of the time they stay at home looking after the kids and family. Uh, that's the life in back home. But anyway, so and also another thing about my dad doesn't share everything with everybody. And this next story that happened a few days ago, but he didn't tell to my mom or my brother. It's just simply because he doesn't think anything. He just don't keep his mind too much into anything. He just leave it. But me, I ask him a lot of things about, like, every day when I go and ask him, oh, what happened? Like, how was your day? What happened? And how is everything over there? What did you do? Where did you go? I ask him a lot of questions. So he shared with me a lot of things. So like a few days ago, as usual, I was asking him different stuff, and he said to me, "Oh, you know what? Recently, something happened. I saw a snake on the way," and then he was telling to me this story. So, like, when he goes out every evening, like after 5 o'clock, he goes for a walk. The reason behind it, why he's going at that time, is because that's the time the street gets less busier, so you can have a peaceful walk. But the problem is when my dad goes out, he see people. He likes to talk to people and get involved in the community and see what's going on there. He's a very sociable person. But when he comes back home, it will be dark. So a few days ago, he was walking home and he had his torchlight with him, but he wasn't using it. But sometimes you do have some kind of lights on the street. In Kerala, not every street that you can find is street lights. If you find one, then you will be really lucky. And sometimes you can get some light from the houses nearby. Sort of, yeah, some kind of. But still, even if it's the dark, my dad he was just walking. He didn't bother about anything, and he didn't think of turning on the light. But anyway, he just kept walking, and that was a long walk, I guess, like almost more than an hour walk. And my dad walks a lot. I remember, he can literally walk like miles and miles a day. And I remember, like, when we were young, me and my brother, like, if we go somewhere as a whole family, like, sometimes we just walk home. Our dad used to make us walk. It was kind of fun, actually, just walk with your whole family on the street, and when there is no vehicles and all. It was nice. But sometimes you do get fed up with walking too much. But I think that's what keeping my dad very fit. Apart from just one or two medical problems, he is a very fit person. So anyway, let's come to the story. So he was walking. I think almost like 45 minutes have passed. He was walking without turning his torchlight on. But then when he come to a point, he just simply felt like he needs to turn the torchlight on. He just felt, he was telling to me, like, it's just all of a sudden, it's like somebody was telling to me, like, I just felt I need to turn the torchlight on. I just took the torchlight, turned it on. The moment he turned the torchlight on, he could see literally a snake right in front of him. and the snake was actually heading towards him to bite him. And that was a poisonous snake too. Can you imagine? And you know, the snakes, they can see in the dark, but they can't hear it. So when the snake sees something that's moving, they don't know it's a human being or animal or anything, you know, any object. So they will just try to attack. So that's what the snake was trying to do with my dad. But he didn't see the snake. He just simply thought turning on the light and he could see the snake right in front of him. And my dad was like, couldn't believe it. He just moved back. And then the snake got scared and he just went off. But it was a black color snake, he said. That means it might have been a very poisonous snake. It could be a cobra. But anyway, it's not the first time that he was seeing snakes on the way. Literally, I think almost every day he sees snakes. But this was like it was just coming straight towards him. And if he didn't turn on the torchlight on, can you imagine? He could have been bitten by the snake and possibly he could have been dead, you know. But thank God, you know, that God protected him. And it was absolutely a miracle. And but I was telling to my dad, you see snakes almost every day when you go for a walk, but still you come home when it's dark. But you need to stop that because sometimes, you know, certain things that it's like a warning for you, isn't it? You're seeing snake most of the day, and you know, so you need to be very careful and try not to go out in the dark, isn't it? So I told him you can walk, like you can go for a walk, but go a little bit early and come back like before it gets dark. But I told him everything, and the next day when I called him, he was still like. When I called home, my mom said, as usual, she said, "Oh, your dad is gone out again. I don't know when is he going to come back." So I told my dad, you know that a lot of people in India, especially in my place in Kerala, a lot of people die of snake bite, you know, and it was a miracle that day what happened with you, and there were so many other incidents as well. So I told him like you need to be very careful, you know. Need to stop going. Oh no, I won't tell him to stop going out. He can go out, but try to come early, isn't it? This was one incident, and even today when I called home, he said to me, "You know what? Yesterday when I went out for a walk, I saw another big snake on the way, but the snake was dead because it went through like a car or bike or something went through it and killed the snake. So it was a dead snake, so that's okay." So like that, there was, you know, India is otherwise called land of snakes. I think most of you know that. India has got so much snake, and I think compared to all other states in India, Kerala has got the most number of poisonous snakes in India. Yeah, so I was just telling to people that over there they need to be very careful. For me personally, I'm very, very scared of snakes and all kinds of insects. And Kerala is like it's a rainforest. It's like a rainforest. So that's the reason you can see a lot of insects and snakes, leeches, and oh my God, I don't want to talk about it because I literally, you know, I got very serious fear with all this. It could be a phobia, you know, snakes and leeches and millipedes and caterpillar. I'm too scared of all this. Anyway, this was a snake story that I wanted to share with you guys that happened with my dad. And the second story was this one happened to someone else a week ago. That was also in Kerala. My brother, he always sent to me a lot of videos from YouTube or Facebook. He sent me a lot of good videos. So recently he sent to me a very interesting incident that happened with somebody with a snake. This happened in a place called Malabar. Oh, sorry, Wayanad district. Wayanad is it's like a forest. If you go to that place, you will know what I'm talking about. It's a full mountains and just forest, full greeneries. And Kerala is overall is just like that. But this Wayanad is mainly it's a forest area, and you will see tigers and snakes and everything on the way. So there was an old lady. She probably on her 80s. She was living alone, and she lives very next to a mountain area, and she had a very small hut, and she lives alone there. So it was quite old, the hut, and they had to change the. But she didn't have money to do all that. So some boys from her area decided to help her, and they were removing all the old. You know, the hut was made with coconut leaf, dry coconut leaf. So they had to remove everything. So while they were removing, you know, in the olden days, the people have the kitchen, the firewood kitchen space, and just over the firewood space, they got a shelf made with wood, and where you can keep the firewoods and coconut leaf and all that, so that it's sit there and gets the heat from the cooking and gets dry easily. So they were just going to just remove those stuff from the shelf, on the top shelf in the kitchen, and they heard a sound all of a sudden. And when they looked deep into the shelf, and they could see a viper, a green viper. So you know, viper is a very poisonous snake, but I think the American viper, Australian viper, and the Indian viper, they all have got pretty much the same color, like a brownish golden like color. But this viper, the one Malabar viper, it has got green color. It's a green viper, and it's very beautiful to see, you know. But at the same time, it's very, very poisonous snake. You know, the moment you get bitten by viper, you can be dead in a few minutes. But anyway, and the old lady, the elderly woman, the grandma, she was not afraid at all, you know. And she even told the boys, no, please don't kill the snake. Just leave it in the forest, back in the forest, you know. They asked her, but why? She said, you know, the snake was protecting me all this time. And it could have been sitting there for a very long time, because every time she cooks, she's cooking or she's doing something in the kitchen, she could hear sound up there in the shelf. But she didn't know what was going on and what is in there. She never knew, but she said she always heard the sound up there. And she didn't know what it was. That means that this snake was sitting there for a very long time, using it as its own house, own cage or something like that. And the lady was actually thanking to the snake, you know, for protecting her all this time, not biting her. Anyway, that was another interesting story. She could have been easily bitten by the snake from a very long time ago, and it didn't happen. So I'm sure a lot of people have got similar kind of experiences. Sometimes it's a miracle how you survive, or like how you escape. Yeah, it was amazing what happened with my dad as well. It was absolutely a miracle. So we got lots of other stories like this and experiences, especially with the snakes. But I don't have time to tell about all the snakes in one day, so you just have to wait for me. So I'll be making a lot of videos with the different stories. Yeah, it was a really interesting story. For me, I'm so scared of these things. I don't think I can really face a snake anymore. And I can't remember when was the last time I've seen a snake in India, because I think after I came to the UK, only few times I visited India. 2 times I think I visited India, and I didn't get a chance to see a snake, luckily. I think, but I saw snakes in the zoo, in the London Zoo and Mysore Zoo. I think in Mysore Zoo, that's the first time I saw this green viper. Wow, it's an amazing snake. You know, it looks so beautiful, the green viper. But it looks scary too. But it's beautiful, the color and the design. Oh God. So yeah, so I was telling to my dad, and I was telling to the people in the previous video, that people needs to be very careful out there in Kerala or in India, because a lot of people die of snake bite, you know. So I told my dad, make sure that you use the torchlight this time. So I hope all of you have enjoyed this video. I got a lot of other stories, so I think this is the third story I was telling you guys. I think one of my other videos I was talking about ghost, and the second one was about, you know, the bead story about what happened with my grandmother, and this was the third one about the snake. So all these stories I'm telling you guys are real, absolutely real. So those who haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please don't forget to click on the bell icon, and I'll be coming back with another wonderful story. Bye for now.